Welcome back to the Unlistenable Podcast.
We're not welcoming back to anything. Why? When we have a problem, you have to point it out.
I wasn't pointing out that.
All through the podcast.
I was just saying welcome
all
back.
Through the podcast.
I was
welcome back as if we started something ahead of time. And then you always, if something screws up, you stop the whole podcast and make sure. If my microphone falls, you call it out 4 times. If something bad happens, you always point it out. And then I get to editing, and I have to edit out your stupid computer fan that goes throughout the entire freaking podcast. And we were just talking about this. Like, it is unreal. But if something goes wrong on my end, you're quick to point it out to everybody. Welcome back. We're not. What are you welcoming back to? We haven't even started anything yet.
Another good episode of the show.
Welcome to Funny Book Forensics.
Exactly.
Your home of amazing talk about comic books. I
hadn't even got to that because you were berating me so bad. You want to start over?
Yeah, I don't even want to discuss the shirt you're wearing today. So,
I mean, like, geez, Dan.
Yeah,
wow. Well,
yeah, wow. I guess I don't even belong here based on the guy in your shirt would have said. So anyway,
there's no guy. There's none of those. That guy isn't even on this shirt.
Yes, he is.
Not.
Yes. He has face paint.
Oh.
And I don't want to give him the dignity of anything. So, anyway, now that I feel welcome, you've made fun of me multiple times already on the podcast.
I never made fun of you as we're recording this version. On the other version.
Oh, I see.
On the other
now you're pointing out we're doing another version.
You already did it. You already did it. So how could I mean, you're the one.
What I was gonna say to this podcast is welcome to our Olympic-inspired podcast, where I didn't do any of the books I talked about last week at all, and I picked something completely different that I wanted to read.
Yay! Good job.
Which makes Greg happy because he also got to read something that I wanted to read, but this time it's actually good.
I was impressed with your choice. I was like, hey, a Whitman book. I like Whitman books.
It is not a Whitman book. Whitman reprinted things. Do you understand how comics worked in the 70s and the early 80s?
I love how mad Dan is, and for anybody that doesn't know,
I am not mad. Whitman doesn't publish comic books; they reprint them.
Dan has been angry since we started recording.
You know what? You just wanted a Whitman sampler, and you were unhappy, so now you're antagonizing me.
My grandmother and I had some earlier today. I had to get her sugars up.
Are you kidding? Like, I brought home chocolate from Belgium. Did not give you any,
of course. Of course you didn't, because, this is the friend
you don't come to my house.
You didn't offer me any chocolate from Belgium. You offered me a comic book you left in your bicycle.
You could have had Belgium chocolates.
You took a picture of a comic book and you left it in a bicycle.
You know what? Now you're bringing that up. Okay, I just want everyone to know, this is what I deal with on a regular basis. I work all day and then come home to this. Well, I don't even come home to this. I guess I don't leave home and then I deal with this.
Dan, this has been our friendship since we were kids, pretty much. So
this is we might talk about comic books on this episode. It could happen.
I'm sorry. I'm punchy. I've been up since 2:00 in the morning, 1:30 in the morning.
Yes, I'm sorry. The version of the book I gave you had Whitman on it. The one I was reading didn't.
It made me just want chocolates, so I went to Fred's and got chocolates.
Fred's.
It's close.
Fred Meyer.
Yes.
Not Fred's Discount Drugs.
No.
Okay.
Kroger for those uninitiated. Living in other parts.
Everything belongs to Kroger now, doesn't it?
Apparently. I mean, down Safeway. And,
that's not Walmart, which I don't go to.
So it's I
think Winco will stay by itself. But anyway, this is not supermarket talk.
SARS.
In fact,
not the respiratory problem, but the what the
supermarket. Well, those are actually a marketplace and they're owned independently owned. But anyway, as long as it's not supermarket cast and it's not antagonized Dan cast, it's actually Funny Book Forensics. And we are here to talk about a gigantic book.
It is huge.
It was a tabloid-sized book, in fact.
I was like, wow. I mean, it's a cast of many, pages galore.
Many pages. In fact, we're here to talk about all new collector's edition C56.
C56?
From 1978.
Wow.
Yeah. Does anybody, I bet somebody knew exactly what I was talking about
before
I even say it.
They probably do.
And we're honoring the Olympic competition going on right now in Paris, France by choosing this book.
Are we?
About a boxing competition.
Whoa.
Yeah, you didn't know that, but I decided that. There are some things I don't have to consult you for.
I am impressed and amazed. That is cool. Way to go. Bravo.
And we have a book that has Superman on the cover. And Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
And a whole bunch of other celebrities.
I know. There. I mean, can you name a few in the audience?
Well, you probably could read them from the freaking code they gave us. Like, they gave us a what are these things called?
It's like a cheat sheet.
Yeah, there's a cheat sheet.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I can look into this audience and see a couple people that I believe might be a folk or two.
Well, why don't you name a couple of them?
Well,
I see Jimmy Carter.
I was gonna say I see a Jimmy Carter. I see a Lucille Ball. I see a guy that looks like Sonny Bono.
I see Batman.
Yeah. It looks like Telly Savalas' bald head.
I see Billy Batson.
Oh yeah.
Right between the ropes.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm just gonna name all the comic book people I see.
There's a lot of comic book people that are drawn into this.
Well, there are comic book people. I was just meaning like the people in comic books, not the people that make them.
Oh yeah. Let's see.
There's a Sonny Bono somewhere in here.
Yeah, no, he's like in the front. He's like right by Jimmy Carter.
Oh, I thought he was by Cher.
Is he by Cher?
No, Cher's in the middle.
Cher's in the middle,
I think.
Somewhere. Yeah, I think Sonny Bono's by Batman. That's what I thought. It looks like you got...
Is that Sonny Bono right by Batman?
Yeah.
169. Let's look it up. You were correct. It is Sonny Bono. Yeah, right next to Jimmy Carter.
Yeah. Impressive.
Oh, and that's Rosalind right next to Jimmy.
Okay. Is Telly Savalas next to Batman?
Probably. No, that's Lex Luthor, I think.
Lex Luthor. Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, you don't get to name the comics. That was my job.
Okay, sorry. It looks like
there's a lot.
There's a lot.
We could spend the entire podcast doing this. There's 172 different things, and different people in here. Paul Levitz is somewhere in here. Actually, he's right between the ropes too. Hang on, like he's
a shooter out there.
I actually found him.
Shooter?
He's looking. No, Paul Levitz, very young Paul Levitz, is looking goofy with his mouth wide open right between the ropes.
Oh yeah.
Do you see that? Yeah.
Funny.
I think Jim Shooter was gone at this point, so he might be there. There is now I after reading this book, I had to know more, so I got an issue of a special issue, so it's just called Special Issue, of Comic Book Artist by Tomorrow's Publishing, and it's just called Comic Book Artist Special Edition number 1. Okay. So, and there's an entire 20-page interview with Neal Adams about this book.
Oh wow!
But he actually sent letters to people asking for their permission
to do it,
to put them on the cover.
Fair.
And then he drew the cover anyway.
Oh.
And then if they said no, he just slightly changed them.
Okay.
So apparently, somewhere on this cover, there's a Ron Howard.
Oh.
And next to Ron Howard, there's a Henry Winkler. But the Henry Winkler has been changed.
Oh, because
so you have to find the Fonzie that doesn't look like Fonzie.
So he's like he instead of looking like Fonzie from Happy Days, he looks like his character from Lords of Flatbush.
Maybe.
Which
I was gonna say he looks like Kmart Fonzie to continue the theme.
Lords of Flatbush, Henry Winkler is Kmart Fonzie. It's like the softer side of Fonzie. It's like before he got Fonzied up.
If you go a couple in, by the way, from the ring post, about 3 rows up there, you've got a very famous variety show host, Donnie and Marie Osmond.
Oh, nice.
Can you see them now? You can't miss them now. And their beautiful white teeth.
Oh, my.
Their beautiful Utah teeth. They're right there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You can't miss them when you see it that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've seen Mr. Osmond perform live in person. He's a fantastic,
of course you have.
He's a fantastic performer.
Of course you have. That's... I don't know why I did not know the conversation was going to go that direction. But
hey! You know, when Dio is taking the stage, it's something you gotta Do.
Yeah, that's fair, I guess. Oh, hey, there you go. Right between Superman's legs, with the long hair and the glasses, is Larry Hama.
Oh, what? Oh, wow. That's wow, man. It's like,
yeah, not only is this celebrities, but this like comic book celebrities.
That's pretty cool.
There's like all sorts of comic book creators in here that Neal drew.
It's a very young Larry. I love it.
Yeah, well, a very young Paul Levitz too. Yeah. I mean, it's a very young, lots of folks. This is anyway. This cover is insane. He said so originally. Before we even get into the book,
so Abraham Lincoln?
let me say who did the book first.
This is Jackson 5.
Neal Adams and Denny O'Neil wrote it, but Neal Adams kind of wrote it too, because Denny O'Neil couldn't finish the book for some reason. Dick Giordano inked Neal Adams on this, which seems like a perfect pairing to me. It does say on here that Terry Austin did some of the inking too. I didn't remember Terry being mentioned in the article. In the interview article I was reading, though, Neal inked a lot of himself too. Apparently, so Neal Adams was not working for DC at this time. He hadn't, I guess, done anything for this was printed in 1978, and it was worked on from 76 to 78. Apparently, this is when Neal had his own studio at this point. And he had gotten in the whole tiff with DC about the Superman rights.
Oh, so in between stuff.
So he was supporting the lawsuit with Siegel and Schuster. And so he had left DC, and he wasn't doing anything for DC. So originally, get this, Joe Kubert was supposed to do this book. And Joe Kubert drew an entire cover.
Oh, really?
Yes, and
then they said, nah.
Elijah Muhammad, who was controlling some of Muhammad Ali's affairs at the time, from the Nation of Islam, vetoed Joe Kubert.
Oh.
And said no.
Okay.
So then the idea was to go get Kurt Schaffenberger and to do it, and it got up to the DC brass, and they're like, nobody likes Kurt Schaffenberger, so we're not going to do that. Because he's not a fan favorite. It's not nobody likes him. Kurt Schaffenberger was a fine, serviceable artist. I don't want to say that, but like basically. And then they were like, well, we'll go see if we can get Neal Adams. And everybody was like, yes, go get Neal Adams. So they went and got Neal Adams. And then I guess Neal Adams and Denny O'Neil had to go to Elijah Muhammad's house and hang out with him.
And get the feeling,
to get approval.
Make the feeling right.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
It is interesting. I mean, it makes sense though. I mean, you got to make sure that the team is right for your guy if they're going to be doing a book about, Muhammad Ali.
About your guy.
Yeah, you want to make sure it's a good fit.
Well, and also like, I think too, this is what they assert, and of course it's an interview with Neal Adams, but the person doing the interview, Arlen Schumer, who has also had a career in comics, so not to be disrespected here, but it's he noted that maybe like Neal's ability to do realism, right, was the reason that they chose him, which I think makes sense.
Well, yeah,
because especially at the beginning of this book, which is funny because it's got a lot of sci-fi in the book,
right?
But when you flip the first like 4 or 5 pages of the book, it's Neal Adams. Like, like it's just straight up Neal. I mean, it could have been lifted right out of the Green Lantern, Green Arrow run. I was going to
say, this definitely feels like some of that Green Lantern-esque, like that feel of, oh, hey, this is some very, like, gritty city scene, scapes, and it's just very rough. Not like rough looking, but just like he really gets in there in the details of those things that makes it look real and makes you go, oh wow, down to the fruit stand, down to the windows, down to the signage that you're seeing. It's a real scene, man.
Yeah, no, it's a little it's not a little, it's amazing, right? And the cover, apparently, like, the cover was the most difficult thing to draw, obviously, of the entire book, because there's like a gazillion faces. There's 172 faces on the cover.
Okay. Yeah.
And that doesn't count. Actually, there's 174 faces on the cover.
Wow.
Because you have Muhammad Ali and Superman.
Yes.
But I guess Joe Kubert drew a very similar cover, and Neal picked up the project and was like, I can't do better than that, so I'm going to do that, but my version.
I can't do better than that, but I'm going to do my version and better. Wait.
Yeah.
What?
Well, and I did see like some of the art from the original cover design from Joe Kubert was in the article I was reading.
Yeah.
And I can see, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. I'm going to try to hold this up for you so you can see it. But you're going to very quickly see why the team rejected Joe Kubert's depiction of Muhammad Ali. So I don't want to go silent on you, but while Greg's taking a look at that, you can I know even through the computer screen, you can see why.
Yeah.
Like, just the face wasn't right.
It's not quite. It's. How do you?
I don't know how to describe it. It wasn't. I mean, Joe Kubert is amazing, but it just wasn't correct.
Okay, so the thing.
Also, he's too ripped.
Yeah, the body is jacked, like, just like big, and the face is flat.
And what Neal said too is he said, he was revisiting Superman because he did quite a few covers like for adventure and action and things like that, but he hadn't drawn the Superman book, I don't believe. But he said, his version of Superman was a more athletic, leaner version, and he said basically from a body typing standpoint, his version of Superman was basically Muhammad Ali's body type. So he said it was very easy to transition and have those two. Because the Neal Adams Superman is not the old... when he was doing covers, right, it was still the Kurt Swan era, kind of bigger. I know bigger, but looks like an old man Superman, right? Not old man, but looks like a man in his late 30s.
Like 30s, 40s, yeah. He's just he's a gentleman.
Well, he's I don't want to say he has dad bod, but he kind of has dad bod. He's just a big dude.
Yeah.
In Neal's version and Jose Luis Garcia Lopez's version, right, for the book, which I can't wait to get that. Oh my gosh! So
you're like,
if you didn't order the style guide, which I have, I don't know if you bothered to order it, but I did.
I did not.
I'm sure Travis did too. But anyway. It's a different version. So the Superman you get to get familiar with from the 70s and the 80s is more of this style. But I do think that Neal's Superman is a little bit thicker than Jose Luis Garcia Lopez's Superman. Just a little bit. I mean, he's still ripped, but, the Superman was a little bit more slender, I think.
Makes sense. Yeah.
But not in this case. But him and Ali look, very similar. They're squared off in the ring here on the cover. And, yeah. So, the only, I think... There will be a couple things I actually take issue with in the comic, but nothing about the cover.
Okay. I guess we'll get there when we get there. There's a lot of pages to cover, and we haven't even gotten past page 1.
Well, we are. It's going to be hard. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please. In the blue corner, wearing white trunks from Louisville, Kentucky, a true genius of the ring and of the people, Muhammad Ali. And in the red corner, wearing a cape and blue tights. You know what? I'm just not doing this right. In the red corner, wearing a cape and blue tights from the planet Krypton, Kal-El, fighting as Superman. There, are we?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I don't think that's my best announcer. I'm sitting, so it's a little bit harder to do my announcer voice here. I need my standing desk back, but we're good. All right. Well, anyway, it's pretty, and when we flip the page, and we get to the first page, it's titled "Training."
Training,
and we get an amazing street scene in New York. And
Metropolis.
Oh, sorry, Metropolis. My bad.
Wow.
Okay, fine, Chicago.
Metropolis.
And we have some people. We have some investigative reporters that clearly look like they belong here, and in fact, they're doing some really good investigating, keeping a low profile.
The streets.
I do appreciate Lois Lane's bell bottoms here.
She's comfortable.
Yeah, but we got Clark Kent, Lois Lane, and Jimmy Olsen coming down to do a story. They're looking around the community here.
Yep.
And they find who they're looking for.
Yeah.
Playing some basketball.
Playing the basketball with the kids, dunking on them.
Because he's a good guy.
He's like, I ain't a role model. Oh, no, that's not Charles Barkley. I'm sorry.
I ain't a role model. Wow. And Muhammad Ali's hanging out, and the kids are like, you're the greatest. He's like, I'm not the greatest at basketball.
That's true.
But he says, in the ring, I'm the greatest. In a schoolyard, I'm merely terrific. I think one Mr. Terrific might take some issue with that.
Snap. Mr. Terrific would be not liking this, huh?
I don't know. I mean, he is all about fair play.
That's true. And Muhammad Ali holding down 4 kids with one hand while he throws the ball into the basket.
I kind of like it, like he's got to be dominant everywhere he goes.
Take that, you chumps. I'm the champ.
The other thing I will share with you is it'll be really easy to follow along in this book because it has page numbers. So
I don't see a page number on this page. Oh God, there's a page
right
number
there, number 4, right down at the bottom. Yeah.
Bicep.
Messing up all the Neal Adams art. Well, anyway.
Yeah.
Our intrepid reporters find Muhammad Ali, and he basically tells Lois Lane he'll do an interview because she's prettier than Howard Cosell, which usually I don't like the sexist remarks in comic books, but in this case, nothing could be truer.
And if you know anything about Howard Cosell, he's kind of a weird guy.
Well, and Howard Cosell, for people that don't know anything about Muhammad Ali, presumably this is a comic book podcast, so I don't know that the listeners will know anything about Muhammad Ali, but Howard Cosell was basically Muhammad Ali's personal reporter. So, very likely if an interview was going to happen with Muhammad Ali, it was going to be with Howard Cosell. And, of course, Howard Cosell was on Wide World of Sports as well. So if you were a kid that was my age Because I'm a couple years older than you.
Yeah.
I'm sure you experienced Wide World of Sports, but I was right in the middle of it. Where it was ABC Saturday afternoon, which should tell you about my life as a child. You had PBA bowling. Yeah, Professional Bowling Association, and then you had Wide World of Sports back to back. Boom, boom.
And his golden jacket.
Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes in the golden jacket. And I loved Wide World of Sports because you got all sorts of different sports on there. Sometimes you got boxing. That's where the connection is.
I think it's just like my memory points of him are his his distinctive voice, his golden jacket. Howard Cosell.
Yep.
And it was just and then the use of him in Better Off Dead with the two guys that learned to speak English from Howard Cosell. So they just it was just, I love that. But yes.
Well, anyways. we've got on that note, we start this interview and then some weird alien guy comes and just disrupts the whole proceeding.
Yeah, bad news.
It turns out if you want to rip off a story, you don't have to look far, because you see, one day, some guy with the initials TW was probably reading Superman versus Muhammad Ali and saw that reporters showed up somewhere. And then when those reporters showed up, aliens came and kidnapped everyone.
Oh my goodness. Hey now. Wow.
Yep. I'm just, it's well, anyway, I mean, if you're going to steal from Denny O'Neil and Neal Adams, right?
I mean, hey, I just work within the parameters that are provided for me by those around me, and help them grow those things.
Oh yeah, I remember this. When it's good, it's your book, and when it's stealing or bad, it's Travis's book. I remember. Okay, I remember this whole conversation. We had this a few podcasts ago. Yeah, I remember this directly. Yep. Well, anyway, we're gonna move on because everything I'm saying is absolutely true, and no rebuttal is needed. So we have here. We have an alien, and he comes in, and he's like, step aside, whimpering female. He just brushes aside Lois Lane, who probably would kick his ass because he's just a stupid alien. But cat space pirates are tough, and so we have Muhammad Ali, though, punches him right in the gut.
Bam! Knocks him off of his space treadmill.
And Clark Kent runs away and
like usual
becomes Superman.
Oh, I guess. Is he really super though?
Like usual. Yes, he's really super.
I don't think we need him because Muhammad Ali could handle himself.
Muhammad Ali might be able to handle himself. Like, that is entirely true. But you, on the other hand, cannot. So we are going to turn the page.
Jeez, dude. Why so much venom? Wow, listeners.
Hey, I'm all worked up from this comic book.
Dan is just mean today.
It's competition day.
People, please. Oh, send me a life ring or something, man.
A life ring?
Yeah, like a lifesaver.
What do you want? One of those rings that tells your heartbeat and crap? I'll get you one of those.
But not the candy, the kind that actually saves you. I mean, well, I would like some candies, so please send me.
How do those lifesavers actually save you? Those rings, right? Like, they have to throw them at you. So basically, if you're drowning in a pool, you're reliant on somebody else to throw a thing at you.
And if you don't practice, you're not going to get it. You're not going to get it on the person. You're not even going to get close. So you have to constantly throw them at people and hope to ring them.
Well, anyway, while Muhammad Ali is beating up the alien, Superman flies into space and he sees a giant armada of very cool-looking spaceships. Yeah, So parts of this book for me, I know Neal Adams did all sorts of things, but sometimes when I see Neal Adams just doing things, I'm like, did he just literally go from drawing epic street scenes like in New York, I mean Metropolis, to then drawing cool outer space stuff, like in and I just think, like, how does this guy do this? Like, it's
right. It's just like boom, boom. Oh my gosh, there's all this stuff happening.
Especially an artist that's known for realism, right?
Yeah, because it's like,
and then these are oversized pages too.
And that was one of the things that I noted while reading this book. I was like, man, this book is like so, like, there's so much stuff that's so real, and there's so much stuff that looks so really good, futuristic, because they go do all this space stuff, and it's so nice.
Well, the other thing, there is a lot of words in this book because it is a book about Muhammad Ali. Yeah. So if there wasn't a lot of words, usually I'd be complaining about all the words, except the subject of this book used lots of words.
Yeah, he was a
so
poet,
I feel
man.
like
he was a type of person that would tell you a whole story while he was beating the crap out of you.
Well, here we go in this book here, and the Superman comes down, and he's about to take out the alien, and the alien guy, who we don't know where he's from yet, do we? Did we find out?
Not yet. I don't think he's said.
Well, he wants to propose a test, would pit our champion against your greatest champion. Of course, Muhammad Ali is like, I pick my own matches. And then he gets taunted a little bit, and then Superman picks him up, and the alien guy is like, we intend to prove ourselves your superior by showing our standard bearer is the greatest. And no, that gets Muhammad Ali, because he's like, whoa, right there, dog face, I'm the greatest. Man, they rank me with Joe Louis, Sugar Ray Robinson, Ezra Charles, Archie Moore, Rocky Marciano, Gene Tunney, Jack Dempsey, and I ain't agreeing to fight. But if I did, I'd whoop your man. I'd stomp him. Here he's going. Dusty Rhodes is on. Muhammad Ali is moving right through his promo right there. And, yeah. And then Muhammad Ali and Superman start fighting over who's the greatest.
Yeah, they're going back and forth as to who's gonna handle this intergalactic ass whooping.
Well, and in their MAGA moment, Superman wants to make sure that he is not an alien, that he's a naturalized Earthman.
Yes.
But you see, he doesn't have the right birth certificate.
Damn it. Birther movement.
I know. So but he's very defensive. I think he's ready for the Republican National Convention right now. So we're good.
Oh,
in fact, from what I understand, the Republicans are already looking for a new VP candidate. So, Superman, if you're out there, don't cave, okay? It may seem like a good opportunity for your career, but it's not.
Is it because Rent-A-Center called and said there was too many complaints about all the couches?
I don't understand. Oh, I do understand. Sorry. It took me a minute. I was like, what are you talking about? I'm not even going to pretend to get this one. But I do get it. There is a classic, I'm sure I've said this on the podcast before. I have like a book of Dave Cockrum art that sadly he was selling right before he died to help pay for cancer treatments. And but one of the things is Superman at a urinal or walking away from a urinal, and the urinal is just crushed. And he's just like walking away whistling. Yeah. Which is one of my favorite, cute little humor pieces. Strong, powerful stream.
Oh, yes.
Powerful stream.
Yes, I believe it.
Yeah.
Powerful stream.
But anyway, they get done fighting, and we get Superman picking up the alien. He likes picking up this alien a lot.
Yeah.
But
maybe
the
they're not
alien's
going to call
dude,
Superman because they found out he's been...
Yeah. Well, they're just like, yeah, we're going to blow up your whole world.
Oh, man.
And Superman's like, no, you're not. And then Superman goes to to stop the giant missiles that actually look kind of cool.
Yeah.
And they just pass right through him because they're plasma.
Oh.
So he can't just move them.
Oh, man.
And then they're headed for St. Louis.
Oh.
And
what?
I mean, if we were gonna pick a target in the United States that needs eradication, and you're not gonna touch that. What?
Oh damn! But they have crab ragoon and that weird cheese.
Crab rangoon.
The cheese that goes on their weird pizza.
Oh, Provel.
Yeah. and the fried the T-Ravs, toasted raviolis.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, where else can you get where else can you get these delicacies?
Okay, fine. I'd settle for Cleveland.
But the Browns.
Yeah, exactly. So
who else will we beat on?
Yeah. Where else will Joe Flacco play? Anyway, Superman, of course, can't have it land on St. Louis. So he creates a wind tunnel and diverts the warheads to destroy Atlantis.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so I'm sure we're going to see Aquaman in this book real soon because he's going to be real angry. He's going to
be so mad.
Or what we can really hope for is those missiles killed Aquaman.
Oh, wow. That's not cool.
He died off panel, like in other people's books.
Wow. Jeez.
And so, we just won't know it for a bit. So anyway, he diverts this and then creates a giant tidal wave.
Yeah.
And then, thank you, Neal Adams, for not having him be able to just zap the tidal wave and create global warming. Because that's usually how Superman beats tidal waves, right? It's just zapping them with his heat vision and evaporating them. Which seems like a really terrible idea.
I mean, it seems great
in this case,
book, but in real life, it's like, that's not good because you're dispersion.
Well, in this case, he's even better. He creates a sonic boom to destroy the tidal wave.
Bam! And then where does it go? Everywhere.
I don't know.
Yeah.
The water just magically dissipates.
All these birds and fish just drop out of the sky and and float up because they've all died.
I mean, I think in trigonometry, we probably learned like why this would happen. Like, is it like sine, cosine, sine, sine, cosine, bad?
Well,
I don't know.
It would form square waves everywhere else. So that wave would stop. That wave would cease to be, but there would be square waves everywhere else outside of the grid.
I see.
And then there would be pocket waves, and then also the fish and the birds would die from the sonic boom. So he would create more problems elsewhere. And right there.
Oh, yeah. We totally saw what the sonic boom does in Peacemaker. That was, anyway, it's this comic, which we've made it all up to page 12 of like 9,000 pages. So
and that is final.
We got, I know this one's coming out late because there's no way I'm editing this and sending it out tonight.
Not?
So, yeah. Yep, you're gonna have to wait a couple days. They don't even know they're waiting.
They don't even know.
Okay.
They're gonna find out.
They don't even know.
Be so happy.
They don't even know. They'll find out in the future in our Olympic Week issue.
I'm gonna tell everybody on the threads. They're never gonna read it.
Wow. Well, anyway, we have some commands happening. Fleet commanders, you've observed this Superman is not only dangerous and resourceful, but cunning.
No.
Imagine his kind as they step out into intergalactic space. Dun dun.
Whoa. Cunning. Not kind.
Yep. And this leader guy, he's like telling his people that Superman's gonna create chaos, and this is a guy up in the ship. This is a different guy. So our guy down on the planet, he's basically like, do you agree to stop fighting and send your champions? or we'll kill all of you. And Superman's pretty like, I guess we'll do that. So now,
yes.
Okay, is it just me, or does even like Neal Adams like steam look cool?
It does look cool.
I don't like. What does Neal Adams draw that doesn't look cool?
I don't know what he. I don't think he can not draw anything that doesn't not look cool. Everything he does looks cool. Looks good, man.
Well, anyway, we get back, and now we're back to Muhammad Ali and Superman fighting over who's gonna box an intergalactic boxing match.
Intergalactic boxing match.
That was your contribution. Okay. Well, so
it's more like Superman flying around a ring really fast is Muhammad Ali is like, hey, I'm gonna beat you up now.
Well, it turns out that's not gonna happen that way. They've found a way to nullify into Superman's powers, so the alien guy is like, silence, you will meet in combat in 24 of your hours at a place of our choosing, and that is final. You know that guy's looking really in that little solo shot there, he's looking very Guardian like, isn't he?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, well, we look and there's a whole crowd that's gathered around. And of course, the police have magically showed up to keep them back by waving their arms in circles. I'm sure that will work. And Superman grabs Muhammad Ali and flies him to the Fortress of Solitude. And there. Lois Lane goes back to WGBS because they're not working at the Daily Planet anymore, by the way, at this time. They're working at a TV station.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And she reports on the news that they're going to solve the problem. It's Superman and Muhammad Ali have vanished, and they don't know what's going to happen. Well, Superman takes Muhammad Ali to the Fortress of Solitude, and Muhammad Ali is cold because it's in the Arctic.
Yes, it's chilly. And he's just wearing a t-shirt.
Yeah. Superman sets up a ring and puts a red sun chuck over it to take his powers away, because that's how that works. Mm-hmm. At this time, the red sun just took your powers away right away. It wasn't like stored solar energy in your cells and all that stuff that Mr. Byrne created. Mm-hmm. He just, if he was under yellow, he had powers. If he's under red, he didn't.
No.
So, that's cool. Anyway, they start boxing, and Muhammad Ali hits him and knocks him down because Superman is weak and isn't a boxer when he doesn't have his superpowers.
Like, oh, hey.
And then we get this really cool page on page 18 where Muhammad Ali explains every type of boxing punch.
And there's a lot of cool poses and stuff like that. So it's like, he's got all the cool poses.
In fact, I snipped this one out to send to Jiu-Jitsu lawyer Paul to find out how the art holds up.
Yeah. What do you say?
I haven't got a response yet. Sadly. But I'll keep us updated. Don't let me forget.
Okay.
So it's very important that we do this. Okay, so yes. By the way, that page is awesome.
It is awesome.
Again, Neal Adams draws boxing poses cool. Neal Adams draws everything cool.
He does pretty much draw everything that is cool. It does, I mean, and again, hyper realistic, super good. I have a poster in our basement, or not a poster, a stand-up, I guess.
Yeah.
Of Muhammad Ali, and it's him in that the far corner crouch position, not with the gloves up, but the gloves where he's kind of standing with the elbow up, and it's it's a picture of him, and it looks like the drawing.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And I'm like, man, it just looks really good because he really captures.
I really like the one where he's saying there's an old saying, "Kill the body."
That's the one.
That
yeah,
one.
That's
that profile.
That's the profile.
Yeah,
that's the one that we have.
It's crazy how real it looks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway, we get back and we find out Muhammad Ali talks a lot about boxing being the sweet science. Mm-hmm. And he, of course, gets to talk about rope-a-doping George Foreman because you can't have Muhammad Ali in a comic book without referencing that.
Rope-a-dope.
And then when your chair gets done squeaking, we can talk about... So now you're going to do it on purpose.
Like, I'm not doing it on purpose. What are you talking about?
Did you buy a new chair yet? Nope.
Because just like my family says, I'm cheap.
Why don't you just buy a new chair and prove them wrong?
Because I paid for a bunch of other stuff, and the chair was not part of it.
You could just buy a new chair, and they couldn't say that anymore.
It's no. Paid for.
Okay, so
I like this chair so much, Dan. I don't want to get rid of it. I love it.
We flipped to Jimmy Carter here. We flipped to Jimmy Carter.
Oh yeah, Jimmy Carter.
And his aide.
Yeah.
Jimmy Carter clearly has competent aides because his aide points at the TV and goes, "Mr. President, it's the aliens."
It's the aliens.
And now we get to find out a little bit about them. Audacious Earth slugs. You have the temerity to hurl the puny... Oh, okay, wait. We got to back up a page because I take issue with this. So Muhammad Ali and Superman are training. Mm-hmm. And then... the army shoots nuclear weapons at the aliens.
Yes.
Like, Jimmy Carter would not have done this.
No.
Like, not even close.
No, that's not in his playbook. He's not that kind of president.
Yeah. But anyway, so maybe he didn't know. Maybe the army just did it on their own.
I mean, who's to say?
I feel like he'd have to turn the little key and all that, though. So
maybe he did. Maybe he did. Maybe he did Rochambeau and he lost.
Maybe.
I mean, he's the kind of guy that I could see him doing that as I lost Rochambeau. Okay, General. Got me. No? Maybe not.
Nah.
Okay. No, you're right. Jimmy Carter wouldn't do that either.
Well, we have Herbert Muhammad here, not Elijah Muhammad, talking about like what's happened to your fighter, and they don't know. He doesn't know where he's at. And then, do you know how much I've read on Jimmy Carter in my life?
A lot? A little?
I just don't know if I could even joke about it at this point. For the people that don't know, my dissertation is about Jimmy Carter.
Yeah.
So
and Billy Bear?
Yeah. No.
Oh, why not?
Billy doesn't fit.
I got a couple cans.
Oh boy, that I want actually.
You do? Well, you can't have it. Yes. You know why?
Well, I'm not going to drink it.
You made fun of me earlier, so now you don't get it.
All right, that's fine.
I'm gonna show you.
You don't get any of the cool things I have for you
either.
Show
you these teeth.
You know what? You don't get to read.
Well, I got a copy of that.
No, you don't.
I don't. Why not?
Okay, enough with your teeth.
Oh.
I don't know. People listening to this podcast, I don't know like what they're gonna do. We're at page 22. We might have to do a second podcast on this because we've been on here for a bit.
Let's go.
We may only make it through half of this podcast.
Because just like the robot says, no more time. No more time.
Yeah, well, in the comic, they extended the time. They cheated, and the aliens find out about it, and they're like, wait a minute. So they trained for more than 24 hours, but Soups is clearly ready, and they fight some giant Rock'em Sock'em robots.
Yeah.
And they kick their ass.
They whoop them real good. Real good.
Yep. He does say whoop him a lot, doesn't he? Yeah.
I mean, it's a good way to say it. Whoop them.
Well, after they whoop the Rock'em Sock'em robots, they get told basically they're going to blow up the Earth if they don't come back out of their little time vortex thing. So they leave, and they give the robots back to their owners.
Yeah.
And then they fly away. Or I have to flip weird pages because it is weird. And then they go back to the aliens. They go back to the ship, and the Ratlan, right? Ratlan?
Yeah.
He's like, by our calculations, we had more than 2 weeks in the nth dimension to which to train. Therefore, it is you who ignored our deadline.
Oh, no.
And he's like, I'd figured from the beginning insolent Kryptonian the event will occur on my home planet Bodacious.
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 Oh, I thought it was Bodacious.
Bodacious. Bodacious. Yeah. And that planet circles a red sun.
Oh, no.
Muhammad Ali's like, uh-oh, you in trouble.
You in trouble, Soups. Like, yeah, the look on his face is like fantastic.
Yeah.
You in trouble. You gonna die.
You better float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. I don't think it's gonna happen.
He's like, I ain't helping you, man. I'm sorry. You're done.
Well, and then suddenly appears Hunya. Hun. How do they say it? How does Young Justice say John? John's his name is like Jones. So we got the. So in DC now, if you have that accent mark, it's Hunya. I do think this name is rather uninventive. It kind of reminds me of Hiya.
I think it's more like a Hunya.
I think it's playoff bad karate books.
Or like you're gonna get like what do you put on a biscuit? I put Hunya.
Oh God.
What do you what do you want to dip your like when you got like chicken but you want it a little bit sweeter? I put in my Hunya.
I mean, that is a way to interpret this. That is a way.
Like, that guy looks so sweet and cuddly. What do you want to call him later? Hunya.
I mean, again, this is a way to interpret his name. I don't know if it's a very good one, but it is a way to interpret his name.
I mean,
when I look at him, I think sweet, sugary niceness.
Yeah, he looks like a...
It's because I'm specious, though.
You're what? You're specious.
Specious. Yeah.
He looks like a cuddle bunny.
He probably is a cuddle bunny in his... Like, look at all he's ripped. He probably has all of the others he desires. I don't know his gender preferences, so...
He's just like, yeah.
He's got his Tinder or his Grindr profile, not judging whoever, whatever way, and he's not getting swiped very much. Like, it's a lot of just
swanky dresser. He's got a cape on. He's got gauntlets, and he's wearing like a tank top, swole.
Yeah,
AF.
He's very swole. He does have some boots. He has some definitely wrestler boots there. I mean,
look at that guy. Or
and then he's not as soon as he does all of his flexing, and Muhammad Ali's like, "Yawn, you impress, Soups." And Superman, unlike me playing along with your jokes, knows to play along with Muhammad Ali, and is like, "By what, Ali?" Chair squeak. So then
that was me playing along. Chair squeak.
Ugh, I hate your chair.
I know. Anyways,
it's here we are, and
I think he's cute.
They keep making fun of him. They say he's cute, yeah. And Ratland is like, "Insolence! You guys are jerks!" Rawr.
It's all part of it.
He's very one, and Muhammad Ali's like, the honcho really blew his cool, and Superman's like, did you do that to him intentionally? So you were just playing along. How dense are you? And he's like, sure. Sometimes a fight is half won before you put on the gloves. Mm-hmm. The trick is to rattle your opponent, make him too mad to use his smarts. Man, that doesn't work for me in real life, by the way. Yeah. When I get people so mad they can't use their smarts, they're just really jerks to me.
Yeah. You just gotta.
Yeah.
Gotta.
Well, we get to Bodacious, Planet Bodacious.
Planet Bodacious. Oh man, look at all them ships. You got big ones, small ones, fat ones, skinny ones, hot ones.
There are a lot of
tiny
ships.
Ones.
They all look cool
yeah,
too.
They all look cool. Got big-headed dudes, long-armed people, things that look like
That's pretty much
eggs.
what the dialogue says too.
Yeah. You got things that look like eggs. Man, I'm hungry now.
Like I'm not kidding. Yeah, and we even get Adam Strange cameo and oh gosh, why am I blanking on his Alana, right?
Oh yeah,
That's his wife, Alana. Yeah.
And chicken things.
And chicken things.
And like whatever these things are on the top that look like they came out of heavy metal. They look cool.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna eat your soul.
Well, somehow we've transported Jimmy Olsen and Lois Lane to Bodacious.
Oh yeah.
iStock guy.
Huh? What? Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Page 30.
Yeah.
Remember iStock guy from Keith Giffen's Legion?
Yeah. Right there.
There's iStock guy.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell?
Yeah, they're bringing him back.
I didn't know Keith Giffen stole iStock guy.
Bringing back all the hits.
Oh, this is before the hits. But anyway, okay.
Putting them all out there before they were hits. Okay.
Well, Jimmy Olsen is like, it's hot and humid and steamy. It is 104 in the shade. It is a terrible afternoon for boxing. Yet, what is happening here today as the Earth's two greatest champions, Muhammad Ali and Superman, battle for the right to meet? Battle for the right to meet.
Right.
Battle for the right to meet.
To meet. Hunya!
Battle for the right. Can how many cues do you need for you have one job?
Hunya!
Hey, jeez. And sometimes like we're doing this and you're not even here.
I was on the wrong page. I was looking at the art. I was getting excited. You can't fault me for liking the book, Dan. Gosh.
Well, Superman is a genius. He has a great boxing team with him.
Yeah.
Trainer O.J. White of the Olympic team and Perry White of editing newspapers.
Uh-huh. It's good stuff.
Who says he was a Golden Gloves finalist. Oh. Definitely, I would choose a Olympic trainer and a guy who was a Golden Gloves finalist in some city to be my corner if I was going against Muhammad Ali.
Well, yeah. You need people to be able to wrap your hands or tend to your cuts or make sure you got enough water, or give you pointers when you got an opening or that you don't see, or they're dropping a shoulder, or they're telegraphing a punch, or their laces are undone, or maybe you just need to, take a breath, take a break, or, whatever.
Well, Muhammad Ali comes with Angelo Dundee, famous boxing trainer, Herbert Muhammad, cornerman, Bundini Brown, who will not do anything else in the story except
just
corner.
Hang out.
Yeah. And hey, we're getting in the ring, and it doesn't look too good for Superman here. I don't like his chances.
No.
Additionally, Superman also decides to fight in his full Superman outfit in 110-degree weather or 104-degree weather, which seems like a bad idea.
It's a bad idea. It's hot. Superman, but then again, I mean, he's used to wearing all that regalia. He doesn't want to.
He also wears a cape.
Yeah, well.
Additionally, why does he come out in a Superman boxing robe? Where did that come from? And then take it off to reveal his full uniform.
He had it specially made for the occasion.
When?
Well, he sent away for it.
He got it on Amazon?
He had eaten all that cereal that he was pitching, and he saved all those box tops. And he
got it. He got it in.
Yeah, he got it in under the wire just for the event.
What was the cereal from the radio show that we listened to?
I'm trying to remember what it was.
It wasn't Wheaties.
It was like Super.
It was some other old Wheaties type cereal.
Yeah, it was. It sounded.
You know, and I hear the commercial in my head right now, and I can't think of the name of it.
Yeah. It's something they don't make anymore, probably for some reason.
No, they do not make it anymore.
Probably for some good reason. Probably had asbestos in it.
It probably was terrible.
But probably high in fiber image. It probably produced some cracking logs. Like, I mean, you were destined to have a double deuce every day. You're going to be super regular. And this is why we just don't have good things anymore. Because people have bad diets. It's my grandma talking. She's like, I don't know why. It's like, I used to go to the bathroom like clockwork. And I'm like, people used to go to the bathroom regularly? I'm just joking. It's a joke. It's a joke, people.
Oh, it was Kellogg's Pep.
Pep! That's right.
Now my chair is making noise. You've done this. This is
You
your
need a
fault.
little pep in your step, Dan. That's what you need. If you eat your pep, you would know that you, too, could go twice a day with a little pep.
Pep, sprinkled with cocaine.
Whoa!
That's right. We'll get you up and going in the morning.
That'll put a little pep.
Put a little pep in your step.
That's for sure.
A little sugar in the bowl.
Ooh.
It'll move you right along. Well, we get a fantastic fight between... It's not so fantastic, actually.
Oh, no, not for Superman. He gets his...
No, Superman just gets destroyed. Superman does make it to a round 2.
Yeah, barely. I mean, people are like calling for the towel. They're like... Yeah. He's gonna get murdered. And Muhammad Ali's just like speed bagging Soup's face.
And we get some amazing scenes. We get full page like action sequences, very similar to the one we had before with Muhammad Ali demonstrating the punches.
Yeah, but on
Superman is a punching bag. Lois Lane looks like she does when Superman is fighting Doomsday. She's like, oh my God, Jimmy, they've got to stop the fight. Superman's going to be killed. The man I love is being slaughtered right before my eyes. Stop it. Somebody stop it. Never let her come to the fights again. No. Good thing Superman doesn't do MMA.
Jeez, imagine that if he did, though. That'd be funny. He just decides, put the red light on. Put the red light on. I want to do some MMA. I want to feel this. I need to feel something.
And the whole crowd is yelling for Superman to fall down. And until they declare Ali the winner by TKO, then Superman falls down. And you get a full page spread of people saying, stand aside. And Superman is on a stretcher. And let's not turn the page.
Oh, man.
Because this is a perfect place to stop.
We're going to stop? Oh,
right here.
Whoa! Oh my gosh, people!
This is a tabloid-sized double Olympic week event, folks.
Wow!
And we're leaving you. Muhammad Ali has defeated Superman. He is knocked out on a stretcher with a whole bunch of amazing creatures and aliens and people drawn by Neal Adams.
Yeah, and
with his Everlast gloves. And wow!
Welcome to Oblivion.
We don't know. And Greg doesn't know what has going to happen next because he hasn't read the whole issue yet.
I have read the whole issue. I know what's going to happen. Muhammad Ali's going to put on a Superman costume and fly away because he's turned into Superman. That's what happens when you defeat somebody. You get that power.
As I said, Greg hasn't read the whole issue, so this is a perfect stopping
he's
point.
He's going to eat his soul.
For us.
Just like when you eat a deer and you become a deer. I've seen the movie.
Just because Greg was helping his wonderful grandmother this morning and has a complete and viable and reasonable excuse not to read the entire issue.
I got 2 hours of sleep, everyone.
But it's also a good stopping point because we have talked for a while, and we will leave you with anticipation here.
Ooh,
but hopefully you've enjoyed so far the banter, the discussion of the cover with all the insane amounts of people on it. Honestly, if you're looking for a book that I don't own a original copy of...
He wants a Whitman version because he loves it.
And no, I do not want a Whitman version. I want a version with the DC bullet on it. If you want to send me that comic or you have one to sell, let me know. I might buy it. I might take it off your hands.
You don't want my Whitman version?
No, I do not want your Whitman version. I only get excited about Whitmans when it's a Legion book that I don't have. I have the other one of, and I need the Whitman one, which you have seen in person.
Okay, well,
me getting excited about Whitmans, but if I had both, maybe. But I think the DC one just looks cooler. In this case, it does.
Okay, fair enough. We understand, Dan. Everyone understands. He turns his nose up at these Whitman samplers.
Yep. And we do. I mean, I just ate Belgian chocolate. I mean, after eating Belgian chocolate, I don't think I can eat a Whitman sampler again. I'm sorry. Yeah. You know what, Greg? Yeah. You make fun. And then
I'll go eat my Dollar Tree candy and be happy. That's right.
And of course you will.
My Palmer's chocolates that taste all... funky, oily.
You know, I love when you go to... I'm just going away from that really quickly. Okay. I love when you go to eBay and buy people chocolate. Still have their comics they're selling priced like it is 2000... like it is 2021. When everybody got their stimulus money.
No, there's a lot of stuff that still people are pricing, not just comics. It's everything, dude. It's nuts. Or when people find out that thing, when they price it that way, have that value on it, and then all of a sudden look up like real pricing, sold fors based on whatever something sold for. It tend to see the reality of like this thing is like $30, and then to see them go, oh, this thing is $5.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I'll give you the $5 if you want it. Should give you $2, but I'll give you $5 because I can see that you're heartbroken. But yeah. Are you seeing some like crazy 2001 pricing for comics? Like what?
Well, I looked up this book here.
What is it? This one right here?
A while ago, but yeah. Let me tell you some of the prices on this book.
Oh
God. This person has it at a fine plus version, originally at $335 with a 33% off sale price.
Okay. So $335.
Another person has it at $370, 23% off. All these books are on sale for some reason. It's like nobody's buying them at their extremely high prices.
So they're going to give it
a $270.
Ugh.
Yeah. Here's another one for $425.
Ugh.
I'm sure that's going to sell fast.
No.
Let's look at the... This will be fun. Well, we should wrap up the podcast soon before this becomes eBay cast. But
eBay cast.
just to say, like, you know, I know we're done with the book. We won't talk about your books today. I actually want to talk about this point for 1 second.
Right, tell me.
Look, if you're a vendor and you actually want to sell your books, right? Like, you need to be realistic, or you're just going to have a lot of books at your house.
No, that's true.
Let's look at some recent sold. 99, 107, 100, 128, 149.99 with the line through it, so a best offer was accepted, presumably probably around $100, right? 97, Best offer accepted on a very fine minus copy. That one's probably the highest. It was 400 marked through, so they might have gotten a pretty penny. Here's one for 230, but it's 2 copies, so that's about 100 a piece. 100, 100, 65, 100, 50, 51, 71, 75, 103, 70. You're getting the idea here.
Yeah, it's
102.
Going down. I was going to say a realistic price for something in a decent shape, mid grade, probably $50.
And they're all mid grade on here.
So $50 right? Is the realistic price.
50 to 100
unless this
is
thing
what they're.
Is a 9.
Well, and that's eBay pricing is 100.
Yeah, but I mean, like unless you're clocking a 9. Like an 8 or a
well, and you're paying 100 on eBay too. You're paying to somebody, they're marking it up 25% because they're going to have to pay that 25%, right? So really, they're getting $75 if you were buying it straight from a. So to your point, if you're buying it straight from a person, $50 to $75. If you're buying it on eBay, $75 to $100.
So the lesson is go find somebody within your locale, and preferably somebody
and buy the books from them.
Preferably. A safe vendor, most likely a shop, or somebody that is reputable that you've dealt with at a show, and buy it from them.
And additionally, if you go to the person, I know Anne is not going to like me saying this, and Anne and I will respectfully disagree on this one, and that's just where I'm at with comics. But now she's selling a lot of dollar comics, so somebody selling dollar comics, don't go offer them 75 cents for their dollar comic. But if you're buying a high-priced book, and you think that the vendor has reasonable pricing. So this is a couple of big ifs, right? Like we walked through SummerCon and there were vendors there with ridiculous prices I wouldn't even like engage with, right? But you're going through there and you see, somebody's got, and you're building a relationship with them.
Yeah.
If you're buying it straight from them, offer them 25% down on it. Because they're going to make money, you're going to get what you want, and a good seller, probably is going to sell it for that. And unless their prices are just, and this is where Anne, I like what Anne does better. This is why Anne would disagree with me. Anne's pricing at your shop at the Retro Emporium on Meeker Street in Kent, Washington, where you can relive your childhood, Anne's prices her stuff to sell. So going in and offering Anne less isn't cool because Anne already has set her pricing at a point to sell.
Yeah.
Right? But with comics, it's different. And most comics shops will mark up a little bit or not reprice on a regular basis, right? So they're not repricing for the down market.
Yeah.
Sometimes when it's an up market, they're not repricing either and you can get a great deal. But, there is that. So just be careful. I also think, too, just as a side note, if you're a comic collector or a comic buyer, or you're just getting into this and you want to go buy a comic for a friend, if a shop is not pricing their books, run.
Yeah.
Because you're going to take that book up there and then they're going to pop open eBay and look at comparables.
Yeah. It's the same with the video game stores too. But to your point about the buying stuff from somebody, like the guy that we talked to at SummerCon, we talked to several different vendors, but the one that we talked to where
Randy's Readers,
was that I want to say Randy,
I think
the one that we had the conversation about a couple different, he gave us a couple pointers about different issues we should be reading, and so did his friend. But I want to say I actually had been at his house like a couple weeks prior, and that was the images I sent to you of his garage sale. And it was one of those situations where if you're buying stuff from somebody at a garage sale like that and they're selling stuff at like $1, don't ask for a discount. But if they see that you're buying in bulk, they might just offer you a deal.
See, you and I will have to disagree on that. I think it's okay to offer bulk deals, but don't be a jerk about it.
Well, see, the reason I didn't go about it that way was because I watched some guy do that whole entire spiel. And don't be the guy that says, how much for everything? How much for everything?
Yeah.
And
make an offer for that everything. Don't say how much.
Yeah, make an offer for everything. Or know what it is that you're trying to buy. don't be the whatever. Like, the dude wasn't a comic book guy. He was a speculator. I want to buy all your comics so I can try to piecemeal them out or sell things that I don't know anything about on eBay. And for me, it was I'm looking through, grabbing runs of things that I know make sense, or different things. Not looking for keys particularly, because I know that he's already pulled all those, and a lot of this stuff is just purely enjoyable content for somebody. So I was just looking for interesting items, and when he saw that we had a stack of things, and it was more of, it opened a door for a conversation, and then he was a little more, oh, okay, cool, let's do that. Let's have that conversation. It wasn't, and we weren't the guy that he just had the whole conversation with, where, hey, everything's priced as it is. I'm not going to sell you everything. You can go count every single comic book and then make me an offer off that.
Yep.
We do have two different thoughts on it. But then again, going in and asking if it is like, if you're looking at things that are, priced higher, it doesn't hurt to ask for less, because the worst you can get is a no, right?
Yeah, the worst you can, well, that's kind of my point. And also, too, I will say, and we'll wrap this up, but welcome to Comic Book Speculation Cast. But the person that you are referring to, the seller, I think the seller was a little bit in the wrong, too, in the sense of being rude or disrespectful. Just from the point of this, right? I'll just say it. Like, he's selling his backup stuff that he doesn't want to haul around. So he should really be open to a bulk offer.
Well, yes, but I think he priced it to a point where, he was willing to do a bulk offer if you were buying in bulk, not if you were going to be like, hey, I'm buying like 5 books.
Right. But yeah, if you were going to take that whole collection off his hands so he doesn't have to deal with it anymore, you should get a discount for that. Like, if you are peeling something from somebody and then you're going to parcel it out and do it yourself, I think you should get a discount for that.
Yeah.
I mean, because he's still, but that's what it is, right? Like, let's break this down, this conversation down.
Well, I think,
be nice to people.
Yeah, be nice to people. But I think what it was he was stopping the guy that came in, whose attitude was, hey, everybody that's shopping at this garage sale, put your books down. I want to buy all this. Those aren't yours. Yeah. I'm buying this whole thing now. And Randy was like, no, you're not buying it. They're shopping these boxes. We haven't had this discussion. This is a new discussion. They're shopping the comics.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So, that's pretty much the conversation. So yeah, yes and no. But yeah, if they had agreed on that, yeah, sure. He probably should have gotten a discount, but that didn't happen. So, but yeah, if I'm selling a bulk thing, I would be like, if I'm selling like 6 long boxes of books, please take them off my hands. I don't want to carry them around.
Yeah, well, and that's just what we see, I guess. Maybe we talked about this before, but I will wrap this up. But yeah, I am baffled. I'm continually baffled by people that carry, 50 long boxes into a show and leave with 49. Like, I have about 50 long boxes right next to me, and I just brought them from upstairs to downstairs. And it was not fun.
Dan, I'm not gonna name the store, but we know a store locally that will go into a show with 49 long boxes and leave with 84 long boxes.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
But you know who they are.
It doesn't make any sense.
Like, and they won't sell anything But they just go to these shows to buy everybody else's stuff before the show starts.
I think the goal is to make money.
They're not there to make money. They're there to just continue to.
I actually did go. Well, anyway, okay, we're wrapping this up.
This is complain about comic books now, everybody.
I just think it's not complain about comic books. It's just, I think collecting is a lot of fun. If you're new to this and you want to go buy a book, I think oftentimes, let's end on a positive note. Go look for a couple $1 bins, right?
Oh, I love
There's
them.
so many good stories out there that you can get. You don't have to run and go get a copy of an Entombed comic book issue. And I think the other takeaway from our little discussion at the end of this is if you do get to know your local shops or go into areas and talk to folks, and then if they do get something in there, they might even get it for you and offer it to you first. But also they're more likely to give you a good deal if they like you and you're interacting with them. They're there to make money, but you're there to get a good deal too. And if you do it together and cooperate, you can get something cool. And really this conversation started because, I read this and I was like, I have a bunch of tabloids, but this is one of the ones I don't have. Yeah. And I still want it. And so I went out looking for it to see what I could do. And, we don't see this tabloid around often around here. So I went to eBay. We have been to shows and to vendors, and I don't see this tabloid very often. So,
and when you
plus tabloids are a pain in the butt.
They're big
to keep around. They're big.
Pain in the butt.
They don't fit in a regular comic box.
I will say too, you're right though. Going out and finding stuff, it is a fun thing. I remember when we were younger, and that was part of the fun of just driving around in the Scout and getting some comic books, or wherever. And there's some guys that come into the shop on Sunday. We call them the Sunday Crew, and they're just some young dudes that just literally remind me of us when we were younger, and just going to pick up some comics because it's just like two dudes that are really into like comics, and their buddy that's just like, okay, cool, you guys are hanging out buying comic books, looking at the comic books, I'm just gonna like hang out, get a candy bar, and it just but it's just fun to be able to like go do that, like when you're young, when you're old, when you're anytime. It's
fun to do it when you're anytime.
And it's cool to see that still as a thing. So if you haven't done it in a while, go do it. Hit the $1 bins, go buy a new comic book that just came out or whatever.
No, we need to go up to the North End and do some. We promised some stores we would do that.
Yeah.
Well, on cue, the dogs have let us know that the podcast is ending.
Yeah.
So thank you, dogs. And we will see you next week with the second half of... I've already forgotten the title.
Oh my gosh, Dan! You forgot the title of this.
The second half of well, it's like all new collectors. It's all new collectors edition number 60.
It's the fight
all new
to
collectors
save
edition
the Earth
number
from Star Warriors
56. All new collector's edition number C56. And we'll be back with the second half of this book next week.
Superman versus Muhammad Ali.
Thank you, dogs, and we're out of here. Bye.
Bye. Oh shoot. It's buried. Oh gosh.